For this video, we're going to show you how to install a Sick-Ass Racing keyed ignition kill switch on a 2015 KTM 350 XCF W. So what I did was I took off to the store and I bought some equipment from sickassracing.com. Let me show you what it looks like. This is what the product is. Sick-Ass Racing. They put out a really nice product for KTM. The wiring harness is all prepared for you. It comes out with a number of different parts here. But here's the wiring harness. And you also have a set of keys and some instructions. And the instructions itself are very, very basic, to say the least. But when you look at the instructions, we're going to use the second choice here. Step 2, detach your headlight. Also detach your gas tank pursuant to the instructions in your manual. Step 3, attach the bracket for your ignition switch. As you can see, I placed off, up, and ignition down, and I placed them on the right hand side, but do it as you will. You're going to next go find the ignition switch itself, and there is a wire that runs from that switch, and it runs this way toward this headlight. And you can see why we had to pull it off. It comes down, and right here is this little bracket. We're going to detach these two. The reason why the first connection you're going to make is using what they call the T. And basically what's going to happen is this can only go in one way. This particular connector goes on the one end, the other connector goes on the other end. It's the only way that these can be, there's only one way they can fit. So don't sweat it out, but that's what goes on next. Okay, this is the way the T-harness should look after you've connected both connectors. We've got to move on to the next part of the wiring harness, and that is connect this last stage. In order to get this done, you've got to remove the gas tank, the seat as well as the gas tank. I don't ever, if I can get away with it, don't ever completely remove the gas tank. I just loosen it up, take the 3 bolts out so I can move this thing out of the way. But where that next connector goes to is, here's your kill switch. There's a wire on the back that you can chase down along the handlebar here, and it runs along down through into the frame here. And underneath the gas tank, right down here, this is where the wire connector goes. You'll be able to see this right there pretty easily. And then behind that, you'll see that there's a little bolt that screws the ground wire into the frame. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our wire, the main part of our wiring harness, run it back through, and then we're going to run it down along the frame here, and we're going to connect this section onto the wire down on near the frame. All right, so this is the last connector. You can see both connections have been made, and I've used a 8mm socket to tighten down the bolt holding the ground wire on. We're finished. The last thing we really need to do is get some zip ties out and just make sure that these wires are secured and out of the way. When you start using your zip ties, make sure you have full movement with your handlebars, that it's not pulling on the wire. Well, there you have it. Put the gas tank on, the seat on, the headlight cover. Want to thank Sick-Ass Racing for putting together such a great plug-and-play accessory. You'd have to be a complete moron not to be able to do this thing properly. But let's see how this thing works. You can see it won't start without the key. Of course, and stick the key in. We'll turn it. I mean, really, what could go wrong?